Hi guys, Victor here. So today I want to show you how to trade WXY like a pro. There's different ways of trading Elliot waves. You know, when you first attempt trading Elliot wave, what you learn is the normal impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC, and then there's WXY, and then there's WXYXZ. And so now the question is, when do you label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? When do you label ABC? When do you label WXY? When do you label WXYXZ? So what I'm going to show you today is typically how you will trade a WXY correction and what it actually means. And to show you that when you learn the Elliott wave theory, you need to put in additional rules that assist you in your trading. You can go and backtest what I'm doing here in many other charts before. So everything is about backtesting. So today I'm going to show you how to trade a WXY like a pro. There's a video that I did, I think it was on the 30th of October, where I covered all the corrective structures. So what I'm going to do quickly here is just to draw all the corrective structures that I've covered last week on the 30th of October, because these corrective structures, you're going to need all of them when you trade WXY. So it is going to be a zigzag. It's going to be the 3 types of flat corrections, and it's going to be a triangle. All right. So here's where we're going to do the triangle. Just do it with a different color here. Here's going to be our triangle, right? It can be contracting or expanding. So I'm just going to do this as a revision so you can see where this is coming from, right? So we've got a normal zigzag correction. You've got an impulse and a normal zigzag ABC, which has got its own rules, ABC. This is a zigzag correction, ABC, simple like that, right? And then you've got 3 types of flat correction, of which we're going to start with a regular flat, which is an A, which is a B that comes here at the end of the impulse. So that's ABC over there, as you can see. All right, so, okay, so you can see the regular flat does not break the top, just ends around that area. The wave C always ends around the start of wave A. And then you've got your running flat, which comes and breaks the top, but does not break the end of wave A. That's B, and then C. Okay, and then you've got a expanding flat, that's your A, breaks the top, and breaks the bottom as well. So that's A, B, C. Then you've got the triangle where you're going to have an impulse like that. Let's do it like the rest. Your impulse. Then you get your A, B, C. This is just revision. If you want to see detail of how I did this, you can go to video on the 30th of October, 2017. You'll see how I did this. So that's A, that's a triangle, impulse, A, B, C, D, E, and then you expect an impulse to go in the prevailing direction of the trend. So that's C, D, E. So with all the corrections, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's all only the corrections that you'll find. There's no other pattern that has been a corrective structure that has been identified except for these 5. Okay, so you may find different types of triangles, a contracting, expanding, one with a flat top, one with a flat bottom, but it's essentially just 5 corrections that you will find. All right, so after all these impulses and these corrections, you expect a move in the original direction of the trend. So impulse correction, impulse, impulse correction, impulse, impulse correction, impulse. Simple like that. Impulse correction, impulse. Okay, impulse correction triangle, impulse. Okay, so these are all the corrective structures. So now how do you trade, when do you trade the WXY? Where does the WXY come in? So the WXY is when you've got more than one type of more than one correction in combination with another. So in this case, you can see that it's just one correction and then an impulse. But what if you've got what if you've got a correction and then it's combined with another correction here? That's where the WXY comes in. So this is how you're going to trade the WXY. So I'm going to show you one example of a WXY. Here I'm doing it schematically. We're going to do a few examples as well. We'll show you how this happens in the real market with rules. I'm going to go through the rules of all these corrective structures. Each and every corrective structure has got its own rules. This is where the depth and going into the depth of the Elliott wave theory comes in. When you have to learn the rules, the application, where they form, how they interlink with each other. Here I'm just showing you how to trade a WXY overview. Okay, right, so I'm going to clear everything here now. Start with the WXY. So this is an impulse. So now, as we've been doing it, so let's say we've got a zigzag correction, zigzag ABC. So remember, a correction always opposites the direction of the trend. Okay. So that's A, B, C. This is a zigzag. You can see it is opposed. This is your trend or impulse or whatever it can be. This opposes. So what if it does not oppose? You get a corrective structure that does not oppose. Like, for example, you get another zigzag in the opposite direction. And this is what always happens in the market, because today's market is different. You are always in correction, like almost 70 to 80% of the time you're in correction. And you need to master the corrections to be able to trade these things. So you've got a correction that is in the opposite direction of the trend. Fine, that's what we know. We like it when it's like that. It's okay. But when you've got a zigzag that is in the same direction of the trend, then that becomes a problem. Okay. So let's say you've got that zigzag, and then you get another zigzag in the opposite, that is opposing the trend this time. Also ABC, and all of these are in the same degrees. In the same degree. We know the rules of an A and the rules of a C. Sorry, this should have been a C here. The rules of a C. A typically is an impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why we label it a A. All right, so this is a B here. B typically 3 waves. C typically impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for an ending diagonal. This can be a leading diagonal as well. All right. Okay, so this is why we label a A. We label it if it's a leading diagonal or an impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We label a B if it's a 3 wave. We label a C if it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for an ending diagonal. Okay, similar. So what if your A now is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive? So for example here, this is how you label this. So you've got a 1, 2, 3 waves. That's one correction. You've got another interconnector here in the opposite direction, and then you've got another correction. This is how you label the WXY now. Now you've got 1, 2, 3 waves. All of that is represented with a W. This W is representing this whole correction, like that, over there. If I had to draw it, this will be your W like that. Okay, let me show it with a different color to show that it is not in the same degree as the impulse. So this here is your W. It's representing this whole correction. That's W, right? Now, the X, which is the connector, we usually call it the connector or a sub. I call it a sub correction for lack of a better word, right? So that is a X. What is this X representing? X is representing this whole interconnector there. And then you've got another correction, the second one this time, which you label a Y. Okay. Right, so you've got a zigzag in combination with another zigzag. So 1, 2, 3 waves. So a W is 3 waves. A Y is 3 waves. That's how you label this. So a zigzag will have its own rules individually, even if it is in combination with another zigzag. Your A should still be impulsive, leading diagonal. Your C should still be impulsive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for ending diagonal. So the rules remain for each and every pattern individually, even though they are interlinked. Okay, so what could happen is now you could get a third one, you could get a third correction. I'm just doing zigzags here, but it can be any type of correction. So let's say you've got another A, B, C here. Okay, and then you get another, let's make it a flat correction this time. Let's make it a flat correction just to show that you can have 3 corrections in combination. And you will trade it exactly the same way as you do a WXY. So now you can see here we've added an extra X. This is when you've got 3 and another Y. So excuse me, Z here this time. So now this gives you a WXYXZ. That's the maximum that you can actually get. Okay. So now how do you label this? This is still your flat correction, A, B, C. You can see this one is a regular flat. So you can have any type of corrections in combination. You can have all zigzags here. You can have a triangle in combination with another zigzag, with a flat correction, with an expanding flat. So any correction can be in here. So how you trade the YXZ here is exactly the same how you trade the WXY. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to trade a WXY, because this is just knowing what the structure is doing. This is just identifying the patterns, but how do you trade it? Let me show you how to trade it now. All right, so I'm going to clear everything again. I'm going to only just up to here and show you how to trade this. All right, so let's remove the third one and just show how to trade a WXY. So these are the rules that I use for a WXY. All right, so now we've got a zigzag So how far must this X come to? So typically your X will typically come around the 50 to 61% area of a retracement of this whole string. So if I had to project this one is over projected. So this should typically end around the 50% area. That is your X. Let's just assume this is the 50%. This is freehand sketch. So that's where you will locate your X. Remember here, you've already located your W. Okay, and then you can see that you're getting another correction in the same direction as the trend. So you will locate your your X here around the 50 to 61%. So this X, 50 to 61% of the retracement of this swing. So you take your retracement tool from the start here to the bottom here, it should retrace around 50 to 61%. That's what you typically expect. All right, so now let's remove the 50 to 61%. We remove that, we've located our X. Now we need to locate another pattern. And it doesn't matter which pattern is going to come here. This is how you will trade it. So here you've got a zigzag. Let's assume that you're going to get a zigzag. We are assuming that you're going to get a zigzag here. So you've got you've got a connector. So this is how you will trade. So you're going to get another ABC, typically like that, ABC. But the nice thing about this is if you've got these two identified, if you've got this one and you can already see this one is being plotted like that, you can identify where your A should typically be and where your B should typically be and where your C should typically be on this side. So now you can actually trade this swing down. Okay, this is how you will trade it. Let's first locate the A. Right, so you've got one, you've got two. Now we want to locate the first piece here. So your first piece, you will locate it like this. So you take your expansion tool, right, your extension tool from 0 to the end of B back to X. So your first string, A, will typically be around the 618 extension, not retracement, extension. So this will be your A. This is how you will locate your A. Your B will typically be 50% of the move from here to here, typically if it is a zigzag. Okay, right. And then take this off. And then your C will be typically at equal lengths. That is this length. If you project this length from there to there, and you project it from there to there, then you will project your C like that. And now you've got your zigzag. C. Right, so it will be like, most of the time it will be like that. We're gonna do a few examples to show how we actually trade this in the real life market. So we were able to project the X using the retracement tool. We were able to project the A. We were able to project the B. We were able to project the C. Right, so but this B can be anything. Remember, if this was a regular flat, you would not necessarily be able to project the B. But what is standard is to be able to project the X and the A, because when you have got this B going up as a correction, you can be able to trade the breakout for a C. But what if it is a flat correction? If it is a flat correction, say for example, a regular flat, your B will typically retrace to this area. If it is a regular flat and do this. So this will then continue as whichever flat it is, but we would have been able to identify this. So it doesn't matter. So I'm going to show you an example. We've got a zigzag in combination with another zigzag. And I'm going to show you another example with a zigzag in combination with a regular flat or whatever flat correction that will be, to show that this can apply in any type of correction. So then now, if in that case, you would have located your W, your X, your Y this side. So it will be exactly the same if you were projecting the Z, but we're not going to do the Z in this case. So this is how you will typically have your Y. You can project typical equal legs from there to there, typical equal legs from there to there. Right. I think this makes sense like this. So let's do an example. I've got a few examples that we can look at here. Right. So let's clear this, all of this, and go to real life chart and apply what we've just learned here now. This is how we're going to do it. Let's go to Euro New Zealand. Show how we traded Euro New Zealand and how we knew it was going to reverse and get a trade. So you can see here on wave 3 of Euro New Zealand, I've got a WXY that's labeled like that. So let's see how we would have projected this. So this is typically what we have here. We've got wave 3, and we've got a wave 1, 2, 3, wave 4 that ended like that. You can see there's a zigzag, it's a clear zigzag over there. All right. So now let's see those rules that we applied, if they apply here as well. Okay, let's do that. So firstly, what do? We've got our correction identified here as 1, 2, 3. Our first zigzag is located as 1, 2, 3. That's sorted. So now, how do we project the X? We expect it to be 50 to 61% retracement of this swing. Let's go take the retracement soon. Right. From there to there, where's our X in this case? Let's check. This is the 50% line. So that's our X located. We put our X over there. All right. So if we've got a W and the X like that, we will be able to. So remember, this is an ABC. Typically, it will be an ABC. Let's just call it ABC for the sake of this video. ABC. Right. And then that gives you a W. This is also an ABC, but this ABC, it is in the same direction as the impulse or whatever we are correcting. You see there, we've located our X at 50%. Okay. Right now, we need to locate the first A of the second correction, which is this one here. We said 61% extension of the move from here to there and back to X. So let's do that. That is from 0 to W back to X. Where is this one? 61%. That's where we've got our A. So we can label our A there. We can locate our A. So if you had missed this move here, if you were trading this and if you had located your X and you missed this move, you would get another chance because you know at A, it's going to retrace. After A, it's going to retrace to give you a B. So how do we locate a B? We said typically about 50 to 61%, but a B will be anything. If it is a flat correction, it can even come here, it can even come here. But in this case, it's a zigzag. We don't have to locate that one with any rule. It can be any pattern. Let's just locate it for now and locate our Y. How do we locate our Y? Let's get the fibs off. So our Y will typically be at equal legs from there to there. You would expect that to be equals to that. Exactly at the blue box. Look where it reverses. This is where we took the trade. How many pips did we get here? We got all of these pips to the upside because we knew what was going on with the correction. So you need to understand the corrections and how to trade it. Right? And obviously you need a trained eye to be able to identify these things. So we were able to locate an X, we were able to locate an A of the second correction, a B of the second correction. We didn't have to use any tool. It can be because it can be any correction. But we were able to locate a C and the exact turning point. And right there to the peep, that's how this thing reversed. And we got all these peeps to the upside. That's one example. Okay, one example doesn't mean it makes it right. So you need to do back testing on a lot of pairs to see that this strategy actually works. So here's another one. Let's do another one. That's Euro New Zealand. Let's do New Zealand US dollar. See if this actually works. New Zealand US dollar. That's New Zealand. Okay, loading New Zealand now here. Show you how we trade it. So you've got another one here within the X. So here we do the same thing again. You've got an impulse, you've got a 1, 2, 3 correction, and then you've got this one here, the 1, 2, 3, which is in the same direction as the trend. Remember, the trend is this one here. This is what we call, this is the correction that is correcting this. Okay, so let me just clear this and make it look nice, so we can be able to see here. So you can see here we've got a clear WXY. Why is it a WXY? Because here it's 1, 2, 3 waves. So now we can locate our X, because our X, this one is a bearish one. Remember, we were doing a bullish one before. So this one is correction to the upside. So it means it's still going to go down. So the previous one was a bullish one. So now we want to locate our X. We've got our first W here. Why is it a W? Because it's 3 waves. And obviously this is a ABC. ABC, zigzag in this case, right? clear to see that. So now we want to locate the X, because you can see here there's 1, 2, there's 3. Let's locate the X with the retracement tool. Let's do that. From 0 to W. Where does X typically retrace to? 61% area, around the 61% area there. That's where we locate our X, but the X is in yellow. All right, so let's locate that in yellow. That's our X. We are done. Right. Now we remove all these fibs. We need to locate the first piece of the A, the first piece of the second correction, which is this one here. All right, so let's do that. How do we do that? Extension tool. Will you take the extension tool from 0 to the end, back to X? Where should that be? Right, in this case, it has actually pushed up quite a bit. You can see that this is where the activity is around here. This is where the reversal is, at the 61.8. So we locate our A here. Okay? So after locating our A, our B will typically retrace. Let's take this off. Our B will typically retrace to the 50% if it is a zigzag. So you see here, now a zigzag will have its own rules applying to it individually, even here, even if it is interlinked here. So we're going to have an A, B, C. How do we locate the C? The C, we said equal legs most of the time, right? So let's do this and just remove that circle. That's our A, that's our B. Right, so typically your B will be equal legs from there to there. You'll typically have equal legs. And that's where you will locate your last piece, which is the Y. That's the second example. See, it fits perfectly here. 1, 2, 3. All right. This one slightly pushes up. You can see here, got a bit of a spike there, but that's the typical reversal around the equal legs area. All right. So another example. This is New Zealand US dollar. Show you another example. We've got 2 more examples to show that this actually works. All right, so that is that one. So the Euro US dollar, which is one that is currently happening right now. Right, so we've got a WXY on Euro US dollar that I'm looking at like that. So let me switch this off to show what I'm looking at. First of all, I am looking at this like that, like 1 retracement to 3. Right, so what do I typically expect the retracement to come to? So this is my W. This will be my X. Why is this my X? Because it is a correction. And this time, this correction is not a zigzag as we've been doing with the rest of the examples. You can see this one looks like a expanding flat. All right, so how do we locate the X? Retracement tool from 0 to the end of the swing. To the end of the swing. So the swing is here. To the end of the swing. And your X will typically be, let me just remove the rest of these that I had previously on this pair. Right. So you see your X here. I should actually do this in yellow. This W in yellow, representing this ABC. We've got an X representing this correction, which retraces to about the 50% area. Here it just misses by 2 or 3 pips, 50%. You can see the 50%. So now we need to locate the B, the A of the second correction. This is the first correction. Second correction here is this one over here. 1, 2, 3. Right? So we need to locate that to be around the 61% area to see what the correction is going to play out like. Let's do that. Let's take that off. Right, so what do we do there now? In that case, I should not take all those things off. Let's put it back. Let's put it back, put it back, put it back, put it back. Okay, there we go, still there. All right, so let's do that. Extension tool. In this case, it will be from 0 to the end of the correction. So to the start of that correction and back. So where do we typically expect the reversal? We typically expect that your A will be this one. So we know that our A cannot be this one here, because this, we could have said 1, 2, 3 here, but because our rule is telling us that our A should be around the 61% area, we're going to locate our A here. All right, so our B will typically be around 50% if this is a zigzag. 50% of what? Of this string now here. We are assuming that this is going to be a zigzag. Okay, so this, take this off. Let's get the retracement tool. Just for this one, just for this string, to see where the B is. We don't have to locate the B because it can be any pattern that plays out. You can see it's very close to the 50% area. Wouldn't be surprised if it comes here, reverses here, and in the process, it will be making this expanded flat here. But we're not talking about that today. We're just talking about locating the A, B, and where this string will possibly end. So this is A. So let's say we'll locate our B over there. All right, so if that is the case, where is our C then? We expect that that will be at equal legs from there to the first correction, and from there, let's do that, it's moving. Crop that. So you would expect, so see this one has not played out yet, still need to monitor. So we would expect that euro would typically end around that area, that is at the equal legs of the first string to the second string. And this will give you another zigzag ABC, and that will be your Y. See, everything has got rules. You need to put in rules for this to make sense. All right, so this corrective structure here tells you this could be your B. See here, that will be your B, which could be an expanding flat or a regular flat, but mostly expanding flat because it has broken the low here, and that will give you an ABC. So this is the trade that we'll be looking at the Euro US dollar. So now we've been looking at zigzags. Let's look at this last one here. That hasn't necessarily got a zigzag. Let's look at CAD Chief. We've got a trade that we've just taken based on this. And it's already in a few pips profit. Let's look at CAD Chief and look how we trade this WXY. Let's take this off. So what is the first thing that we do? We first identify the three waves that we're looking at, the corrective structure. This is 1, 2, 3 here. What is that? That is our W. This is your impulse. This is your W. This one plays to the pip. Now watch carefully. What do we have there? That's our ABC. For the sake of this, we call it an ABC. ABC. Right, so now you've got a correction in the opposite direction. Clear textbook stuff. So we need to locate the A. Where do we say the X? Where do we locate the X? Retracement tool. You see, I've already done 3 examples here. If you want to prove this, you can go do back testing to prove this. So I take the retracement tool from the start to the end of W, and I expect my X to be around the 61% area. Where is it now? Exactly at the 61%. To the pip. It doesn't miss one single pip. It's right there. It reverses right there. 61, and then it goes down. So this is the first part of our string, of our second correction. See here? This will now be, if you switch this everything off there, this will now be our A. I'm going to show you something interesting and why this is powerful to use as a tool, right? So this here is our first A, okay? First A. Where is this supposed to be? It's supposed to be at the 61% extension. This will show you why it is important to have rules and why you cannot just trade Elliott waves with a blanket approach. From there to there, and then back. All right, where is the A? The A is at the 61% extension. Okay, let me switch this off. It is at the 61% extension. So what if I did not have this rule? How would I have known that this is my actual A? This is where the start of the correction. Because initially what I thought when we were looking at this, we thought, let's take this off. We thought this was going to be the zigzag here. But you can see, in terms of degrees, this is very small compared to this. So this should have ended at the 61% extension. This is nowhere around the 61% extension. This is the 61% extension here. 0 to W, back to X. This is at, you see, the 61 is here. Let me just take this one off. The 61% is around here. It is not here. So we cannot take this as ABC and this one as ABC. Okay? This is the importance of degrees. Somebody could have said a ABC and an ABC. Okay, but our strategy shows us that no, our 60% is only here, which means this is only the A of our correction. All right, so let's do that. Remove everything there, carry on with our. So, and you can see this one now, we've done the zigzag and in combination with the zigzag. Let's switch this off. So let's remove this like that. So this will now put it as this, as a first leg A, right? So now this will be our B. You can see that in this case, our B is a flat. It's ending as a flat. It reverses right there as soon as it takes at the top there. So what are we anticipating? We're anticipating that we're gonna go down. Anticipating that we're gonna go down. Let's look at that. Where are we gonna go down? How far are we gonna go down to? Equal legs of the move, this move of the first correction. We expect that we're gonna go down there. Right, so let's take this off. We expect that we're gonna go down there at the equal legs. Let's take that off, take that off. So this is our target here. We already took this trade in our group because we knew this thing here. Our B, this was corrective because this is a expanding flat. What are we anticipating? That our target will be somewhere around here. So even it can even be here if this is going to be a regular flat. But we are looking at the equal legs between this and that. And that will be, switch everything off now. We've got our fibs right. Now we just need to put on the labeling. So you see the important thing here is to put up the labeling. So this is our X and that will be a Y. And that Y is representing the second correction. The first one is representing the first correction. So that's a W, that's an X, that's a Y. Everything has got rules on it. And that's how you trade a WXY. And this is why it is important to have rules. And this is one of the things that we train in our group. So I just wanted to show you that we do a lot more than what I do during the weekly outlook. Right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Share and like the video, give it to somebody who it might help. Or maybe this could be that last part of the puzzle that you were waiting for in your understanding of the Elliott wave theory. Thank you for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.